is updated. So is my screen up here. Nope, that's not the right one because I scrolled really far back. This is updated. So guys, today we're going to do 925 and 9. We're going to start 926. Hence the little house thing you see up front that if you think it looks terrible, keep your comments to yourself. That took me a long time. So then tomorrow we'll finish 926 and we'll do 927. 923 is due today. I pushed these a little bit. 924 is due tomorrow. Sorry I didn't get a chance to make this box red. And 925 is due on Friday. I could, but I'm not going to spend the time because you guys know what's due is due. So in 98, if we're looking to find the area, what we want is to use the radius. So if they don't give me the radius, I need to find the radius. Meaning if 60 is the diameter, what's half of that?
30.
What are you asking, Brenda? Because Brenda asked.
Is today the 16th?
Yes.
I thought he kept saying 10 to the 16th, and I'm like.
So Brenda, you're the one who asked this question. Does that help? The formula. If you don't know the formula, that's going to be a place to start. Is pi times the radius squared. So radius squared is radius times itself.
How do I write pi on this calculator?
You type the pi button. Or you can use 3.14 since that's the approximation for pi that we all agree upon. Other final 923 questions. Gust. This is not the Gust show. Yeah. You probably, I read your name. You turned it in. I'm just double checking because people didn't and it was due yesterday. So I went ahead and made it due today to slow down a little bit because yesterday I did not cover as much as I wanted to. I read through all the names at the beginning of class. If you weren't listening, not my problem. Sorry. Check your binder. If 923 is in there, you haven't turned it in. If it's not in there, it would appear that you have turned it in. So, today we're going to start by looking at your 925 paper that I gave you, and we're going to solve A, B, and C for the unknown side and determine if that unknown length is rational or irrational. So we should not be doing our homework anymore. Cough, cough, those people that I see doing homework. We are doing the 925. This is on your handout. So you need 925 out. If you don't have it, I can deliver it to you. But I know I got a couple extras here, so we need this out. It's got like a baseball diamond on it.
Yeah, but it's 24 squared plus 30.
Well, Max Wright isn't up here, so.
Be careful that you pay attention to what side you're trying to solve for. A and B are the legs. C is the hypotenuse. But yes, all of these are going to apply the Pythagorean theorem.
Wait, C is the hypotenuse? I thought A was the hypotenuse. Oh, the column. I think the column.
In case you don't have it, I mean, if you find it. Got it.
A, you need the hypotenuse.
Even though it says examples from class, you went ahead and did it?
Me?
No.
This, and then you gotta bring the
Every time I say something, or anybody says something, you're trying to chime in the comments. Come on, simmer down.
Guess what?
What?
I don't need that, but guess what I just found out when I was looking through my binder?
What?
I don't know if it's great.
Nice! Alright, flipping on from the signature page. 925. That was 923. Wait, where's 925?
It's 40. So
There we go. We're solving for the unknown sides. If you get 122 done, you can move on to 123 if you want.
1, 2, 3.
Like, problem 123.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's funny how it is like that.
Oh, like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Sequential.
Mr. Hudson, it's not a problem that's 3, 2, 1. Because
Well, hopefully we don't have 300 problems.
that would be too many problems for a chapter.
What do you do?
Unless it was question 3. Okay, 40 inches. Okay, hold up.
Remember, the hypotenuse has to be the longest side.
10 squared plus 20 squared. Oh, that's a hypotenuse. Crap.
I'm so smart.
You're right.
300.
Hold up.
Wait, Anna, I was right on B.
These are on your paper. I can scroll my screen and stuff.
I like that. 17.
Thank you. I figured if we were going to have tiny little cars, we should have a tiny little house.
Wait a minute. Are we finding the
No, 7th grade is doing unit rate
Oh.
and really proportional relationship.
Wait, so we don't get to do it?
You guys did it last year.
We don't get to mess with tiny cars?
I'm sorry that you decided to be in the advanced math.
We didn't. It's not my choice. Then none of us decided.
I mean, really.
I didn't take the test.
Yeah, if you have not practiced doing this on a calculator yet, get a calculator and practice. I'm hearing people ask, where's the square button? Where is the square root button? Like, if you haven't practiced calculating these on your own, you need to. Yes, sir.
So I did 32 squared plus 20 squared, and it came out on top of it. So start with this one.
You got a team. So if we're looking at doing part A, it doesn't matter which is A and which is B. It really does not. The only thing that matters is which one is C, is the hypotenuse. So remember, C, just C, is the hypotenuse. When we do the Pythagorean theorem, what we're finding is C squared. So, Nolan, help me out since you just said these numbers. 32 squared plus 24 squared. So what's 32 squared?
1024.
Sorry, I thought you'd still be writing Nolan since you just told it to me. What is 24 squared?
Oh, 1 second.
1 second.
576.
What is it? 576?
That's not 1, don't worry.
So when I add those together, what did we get?
1600.
Yeah.
Just 1600 straight up?
Yeah.
Hold on, I heard I'm so confused, so we need eyes up here.
It's not on this, it's a different
Okay.
one.
But this is C squared. So, oh, I already grabbed my card. Spencer, how do I deal with unsquaring something? We square root it. So if I want to square root that, I got to square root this. And what is the square root of 1600? Making C
I'm gonna go get a drink.
40
Her just trying to get out of here.
inches.
Yeah, Kirby, have I been too?
Spoonful of mustard. That's a trick to hiccups. It's a trick to get rid of hiccups.
Or if you scare somebody.
Wait, what are we looking for?
Goodbye.
Well, I guess Charlie's on her way too, but how many do you think you guys need? Or run away, so that's fine.
He needs you.
And metric or American? every time it clicks, what's supposed to click. I'm going to give them both, I think. Alright, so here's the deal. It's supposed to click every time it rolls. And Charlie, yes, I'm talking to you. However, that one seems a little goofed up. So this one actually does click, but then you have to convert from feet to meters.
Okay.
So here's these, and I don't know what you guys are actually trying to do, but would this be helpful? That is just a giant tape
Yes.
measure. Okay, take that, these, and don't drop your Chromebook.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Hudson, can I move on?
Alright, Charlie has a bunch of stuff for you. Alright, so B and C. Anything for you, Tony. B and C. That's what I say to a lot of people around here. Is just anything for you. B and C have a trapdoor though. Because instead of just being able to square things, add them up, and then square root, they give us different pieces. So,
B squared on B. Negative B. No.
guarantee I have more patience than you do. Some of my classes have time for homework sometimes. Yeah. So, it doesn't matter which is A and which is B. All that matters is which is C. So we would plug in 20 squared for C. Well, 20 for C, but then we got to square it. And then it doesn't matter which, but if you want to make the algebra easier, leave your unknown as your A squared. And why do that? Because then it makes more sense in your head for what we're going to do next. I've got A squared plus what's 10 squared? 100. What's 20 squared? 400. Then what do I need to do on both sides?
Minus 100.
Now we minus 100.
It's algebraic. Or no,
Then-
it's kitty method.
I mean, almost everything is Chubby Bunny Kitty method.
I feel like that's true.
A squared equals 300. So in your calculator, go ahead and do square root of 300. And what do we get?
17.320508 and so on.
Yeah, that 5 was the worst 5 I've ever made.
Wait, I have a question. Is
Why'd
there
you
a way to
make
write
it gay?
irrational?
It is irrational. So, here's something you don't know yet. Leaving numbers in radical form is allowed because radical 300 is more accurate than 17.32 whatever. However, don't be mad at me. Most of the time we're putting them into their decimal form. We're not leaving them radical. But if you do not like messy, irrational numbers, it will be an option as we move forward in math and science to leave things in radical form. So likewise for part C, what'd you get for this side? Because we all got the same thing. That's like we don't have to do it together.
5.73.
5.7-ish? Ish? Exact, right? So if this is exact and if this decimal terminates, is this irrational or rational? It is rational. Try the baseball field problem. If you already did that one, move on to 124.
It's also what I also said that one.
It's what?
7.3.
Are you sure you're playing on a full-size field?
No, we don't plan on full size. That's in the MLB. It says Coach Kelly's third period.
Well, I don't know. Okay, so this baseball field.
Maybe oh, they're probably at Yankee Field. I'm gonna quit my job at the board of supervisors. You work at the board of supervisors? Well, it says I have to do something for them.
How much the board of supervisors?
How are we going to be able to figure out the distance from third to first? Lily? I should just know at this point that when Lily raises her hand, she's going to come to the board. Because, like, when I call on Lily,
I
she's
can't
okay, and she
talk.
gets up.
I cannot talk properly. It's the thing.
You just did. I can't talk properly
I would select the smaller one, the one on the bottom. Like, oh yeah, that's smaller.
So,
All right, listen to Lily.
diamond. This is home base, and this is where Lisa's, what's her name?
Hey, your side comments are not helping.
And this is where Dana is. And yes, it is a square, but it's called a baseball diamond. I don't know why. It is a square. And this is half of the square, as previously drawn. That's not correct.
Well, so you know how a square is a rectangle?
Yes.
Is a square also a diamond, or is a diamond also a square? Like, if they have the same criteria, we could call it either. But all right, go ahead and continue, because if we're going to nitpick.
And so it is a square and possibly also a diamond. And half of the square is a triangle. And so we already know these. So we just need to find this.
So what math are we going to do?
So,
You want to write down the
square.
math?
Will be 0.
We could do 90 squared. Wait, right.
Because it's 90 squared plus 90 squared.
Yeah, hold on.
Multiplication is just.
I would need parentheses.
Yeah, that works, I think. Wait, so. Wait, oh, yeah, that's 16,000. I see.
I don't know how much I can really discuss this without you.
16200. And then S.
If you like say
No, it's 16,200.
this
It's
is like
16,200. That's what I said.
and like the triangle.
I
Is
misheard.
this is like
And then you square that. What is it?
90 plus 90 is 180.
Square root it.
And that is 127.27.
Your answer seems wrong.
It's irrational.
So what?
127.27. Lily, 9. Clap. They're not listening.
It's faster clapping than I knew humans could do.
Points, blah, blah, blah.
So, to write it out again, because Lily went kind of fast for my brain that is not as smart as hers. Lily said this is a right angle, making this a right triangle. So what we have is a leg of 90, another leg of 90, and the distance from third base to first base is the hypotenuse. So Lily did 90 squared, but since she has two of those, what she wrote down was 2 times 90 squared. But if we're writing out the Pythagorean, it would look like this. 8,100, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which then when we add those up, that's how we get 16,200. So that, though, is c squared. So we have to square root. And when we square root, there's no label on this number. Guys, don't, that's how you get kicked out of the baseball game. Running around naked. No label on the number. No naked numbers, guys. I guarantee you've heard no naked numbers before, but sometimes people at athletic events will run across the field with no clothes on because they think it's funny, and then they get kicked out and banned from the stadium for life. So, don't do that. Yeah, you get arrested for indecency, right? Public indecency. So, as long as this is the square root of 16,200, it's apparently about 130 feet to throw from third to first. That's a hard toss. So when you're out on the field playing baseball or softball and you're thinking through, do I throw to first and I get the out there? Or do I throw to home and get the out there? Which is the shorter throw? Throw to home, and why always throw home? Stop the run. Yeah, stop the point. Stop that run from being added on. All right, let's try this one. As the city planner of Wright City, you are responsible.
Wait, is it Mr. Wright that's doing this?
That was really fast that we got quiet. Thank you. You are responsible to report information to help the Board of Supervisors make decisions, yada yada. The board has asked for reports with answers to each of the following questions. If each grid unit is 1 mile in this case, here are our questions we've been asked to answer. You have this on your paper. Dive into it. I really want to get to the question involving my arts and crafts to make it worth my time to have built today. So I only want to spend like 5-ish more minutes on this, because then the next problem's kind of hard.
We also don't have it.
Can I just count this diagonal distance? No, we cannot count diagonally on our paper, so we need to solve it. So what if I throw a line right here? Hey, look, I turned my one triangle into two different right triangles. Ooh, and someone famous showed up. No, someone famous showed up in Wright City. The most famous right triangle. Take at least 2 more minutes on your own. I'm going to stop talking because I'm giving stuff away. 2, 3, 4 is not famous.
No, it's 3, 4, 5, but this one.
Well, does 2, 3, 4 make a right triangle? It doesn't.
It does. He's trying to cheat us.
I have to find out what it is. Oh, that's not.
Although that should be 6 squared miles, not miles squared. Because miles squared would be like the area. So what we're talking about is a length of 6 squared
Equals 49.
So when the first thing you need to do is actually figure out this length and figure out this length. If you don't know both, we're kind of screwed. Because if I don't know both of these, I cannot work backwards. Because I got 2 things I don't know, and we don't know how to deal with that yet. So the advice that I gave you right here, if you draw a line right here, and what we see is a famous right triangle. You gotta figure out either sides. So why did I say somebody famous showed up to Wright City? So let's label what we can. If that's 3, that's 4, and this, you just said it is then. And then could I solve for this side? Well, I've got 2, I've got 3. I probably have to use the Pythagorean theorem because it's not as nice.
Mr. Hudson, for our report, should we just like show this graph? I have on mine.
I'm not even sure what you mean. What do you? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Apparently, I was probably the doghouse trying to win back points. You guys don't know a lot of expressions. Do you? When you're in the doghouse, you're like in trouble. In what? Sweet. Good. Does everybody know it?
That is true. That is what's called. But it's looking with 5 by jet. We're looking at 5 jet. Oh my god.
All right. So what we did was we first identified our famous right triangle. Because if I draw a straight line, this we know is 3. This we know is 4, which means this has to be 5. Then, put them somewhere. Anna, talk me through how we solve for the top part of our triangle.
So the way you solve for the top triangle is where you had cut it before. You do the
Pythagorean.
Pythagorean theorem, where you do 3 squared plus 2 squared equals.
Oh, because this is 2. Okay, I'm with you.
And then it equals 13, and then you take the square root of 13, and then the square root of 13 is 3.6, which is irrational, so I just rounded it to 3.6. Oh yeah, or that. And then
So if we don't want to round, and here's why. When you then go to use the number you write down in the next part of the problem, if you wrote, what did you say this approximately?
3.6.
So like about 3.6. If I use that in the next part of my problem, it's not accurate. I am already, like, I know my answer is not going to be perfect. So why would I set myself up to get a wrong answer when I could just say, okay, this side is radical 13? Because then, to solve for the whole perimeter, so here's the thing. 3.6 doesn't have to get used again except for like adding things up. If we were trying to do the Pythagorean again and solve like for the hypotenuse, when I set up a, hey, give me your eyes for a second, because this is like a trick that some people, if you don't see it, and then I show it to you like a week from now, you'll be mad at me. If I say that this is one of my legs, like A or B, and I go to do the Pythagorean theorem of A squared plus B squared equals C squared, what happens when I square something that is under the square root? It undoes, it like takes away the root. So A squared would be radical 13 squared, which would just turn into 13. But type 3.6 into your calculator and hit squared. Like 3.6 squared. Is it as nice as 13? No. See, it's not exact. But in this problem, since we're just trying to approximate things to the police and fire, like we can probably use 3.6. They probably don't want us talking about radical miles. They'll be like, hippy dippy radical what? So you can probably use 3.6 here if you want. How long is this edge? 6. So what's 6 plus 5?
11.
Plus 3.6? 14.6, so a little under 15. Now, they ask us, is right city a right triangle?
No.
So now we got to test. Now we got to test the Pythagorean theorem, see if it comes out true. I saw a lot of hands shoot up and then go down. You want to keep going? Not the square root of 13, but square root of 13 squared plus 5 squared equal to 6 squared. So this is when using the exact will be better. What's 5 squared?
25.
What is 6 squared?
36.
Are these equal?
No.
Is right city right?
No.
So maybe we should rename it wrong city.
There is a different method that I use. So right triangles are rectangles cut along the diagonal.
So what I think you're trying to say is they have perpendicular legs.
Yeah, which they don't.
So, hey, this is brilliant. Give me your eyes. The other thing Lily said was, well, okay, forget all this. If I check, is this perpendicular? What do perpendicular slopes have to have? Like, to be perpendicular, they're what? So we're stabbing in the dark here, Spencer. Yeah, but how do we check on a graph using slope?
They all the same.
Lily? Not if they're perpendicular.
Up by a ray.
Back to Spencer. No, because we're not talking about degrees in slope. This is Maddie.
Okay, so one slope has a slope of something, but the other one has a slope of that, but negative?
Not just negative. Aiden?
The negative reciprocal.
If these were perpendicular, they would be negative reciprocals. So flip the fraction, make it negative. Is 2/3 a negative reciprocal to negative 4/3? No. This slope, to make it perpendicular, would have to be negative 3/2. The opposite reciprocal, and it's not, right? It is not. To do negative 3/2, we'd have to be here, right? This point, not down here at that point. We'd have to be this point to be negative 3/2.
Is there another way to see if it's right triangle?
There are lots of ways.
Look if it's not a right angle.
Well, that's what we just tested. Is that a right angle? It's not, because they're not perpendicular. They're not negative reciprocals. Don't even. Can I odd? Yeah.
Is there actual cities like that are in the shape of triangles?
I mean, there are very interesting cities all over the place because city planner is a job. Like, literally planning out cities is a job. So a problem that you don't have, and I don't know why I'm still clicking through here because it's a problem you don't have, is the problem that I put in my notes for you. About my wonderful, amazing, beautiful, yada yada. I don't know why I was trying to win points with my wife while I made this worksheet, but apparently I did. So, this now should be not this past summer, but 2 summers ago. I installed a patio behind my house. No joke. So, my wife wanted me, and continues to want me to, because we take them down every winter, to hang lights across the patio to add the ambiance. Yeah, if you don't know what ambiance is, you'll learn. Ambiance is like the feel of a space, how it all goes together, the feng shui of it, the furniture, the lighting, the fire. Well, you asked. So, the lights will connect on the shorter sides at 2 points, on the shorter sides, so here and here, 2 points on one side, 3 points on the other side, right? Equally spaced out. So here is your task. Figure out where the poles, because I have big metal poles that go in the ground that the lights suspend from. Figure out where the poles should be placed on the side that has 2 poles. Let's all agree that we'll put 2 over here and 3 over there. Equally spaced out, right? So we'll have like 1 somewhere and then 1 another where that's equal between them. And then same thing over with the 3, except it'll have 3 poles. But 3 points on the other side, equally spaced. Also, the wire will run along 3 points of the one side and between the 2 points of the other. So what we're saying here is, man, I forget how I did this last year. No, I already did this. So, like, if we count this side, how many boxes are there?
17, and the other was 21.
17? Are we sure?
Yeah, there are. I counted it. No, that's 18. How many lines there are? There's 18.
Oh, 16.
Yeah, 16 bucks.
And 20 boxes.
So 16.
I got 16.
Now, if we're going to put 2 points, we're going to split that into thirds.
Yes, so 8 and 8.
How about this? Move on to 135. I will double check what I'm trying to get you to do on this problem because it's been a year since I taught this problem, and quite frankly, I've been crazy busy lately and didn't remember that I went rogue and made my own problem here. We'll do this tomorrow. Look at 135 because it relates to my beautiful
Box. It's Buddy Box Master. It's a
My-
box.
my baby little house here.
It's a box.
So this is this is the roof of the Flat family's house.
Of the what?
The Flat family. You know, Flat family.
Are they flat?
They're not really flat.
So if this will probably help us visualize the other problem that I wrote. If they want to put their antenna right in the middle of the top of their house, so the antenna is going to stick up past the wires, and you'll have, oh yeah, it's metal. You got to get the radio signals, and it needs to be metal. So don't judge my arts and crafts. I put my heart into this. So to keep this from blowing over any direction, you have to have guy wires. They're called guy, not guide. I for the longest time thought it was guide wires. They're called guy wires. I don't know why. So I look it up. It's probably not like for that reason. So there are two wires coming straight out to the middles of the short sides, two wires coming straight out to the middles of the long sides, and then wires going out to each corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in total. Your task is to figure out how much guy wire in total we need to buy. Do not worry about the fact that we have to attach it down here. We'll add a little bit extra onto our order. What we need to know is how much wire we gotta have. What's the minimum we can get? Then we'll add some extra for attaching it at the top and the bottom. Do you think these are all going to be the same lengths? Some of the lengths will be the same.
Oh, the ones on the that go up to the middle.
If you look at it from different angles,
So, everything you're trying to say to me, talk with your team and figure out how you're going to make a strategy for solving this.
it's not possible. I was just gonna say that I think there is make like two big triangles or
Okay, so like I just said, what you're saying to me is say to your team, develop a strategy for how we're going to solve this. No. Why would we measure things? That's silly. Why are you following me? You realize this isn't the real size of their house, right? No, she's trying to measure it, but that is not going to work.
Oh, shoot, this has to be your strictly tape measure thing away, or else we could measure this.
That's not the real house. That's not the real thing. So, for any of you thinking, well, we need to know some more information.
I was in the Fat family. Where are they?
Read 136. Middle schoolers are very predictable. What? You know what I could have predicted? You getting mad at me saying middle schoolers are predictable.
Wait, listen, I have a question. Why make them two different piles?
Why what?
Why make them two different piles?
Why make them two different what?
Wait,
Problem.
Mr. Hudson.
Because I knew you wouldn't look at 136. And I wanted you guys to have that discussion before I actually gave you numbers. What happened to the other things?
Jake has the other one, and then the other one is Mr. Cookie.
I'm not that where I barely ever use those. I just wanted to make sure they weren't like sitting out in the park.
No, they aren't. Jake's using it to measure his garden and.
Sweet. All right, so have a favor to ask. And y'all are gonna have to help me / help each other with this. Tomorrow, not only will not only will Mrs. Hunter be back here again, she was on spring break last week because Otterbein took their spring break really early, but actually, and I don't know if she'll hang out in this room or go with Miss Hunter or somewhere else, one of my college professors from a long time ago when I was in college will actually be here with Mrs. Hunter because she's observing Mrs. Hunter, like interacting with middle schoolers and stuff like that. So if I could ask you guys to act how you know you're supposed to act and kind of be on our best behavior tomorrow. I don't want my old professors to be like, man, he fell apart and doesn't know what he's doing as a teacher. So if we could just be how you normally are, but try to help each other stop with the side comments or the making weird noises or talking over top of me. So get out of here for today. I'll see you tomorrow.
No, we're not saying what to do. They can choose what type
So do I. They're fun. She is probably going to pull you guys and do a little bit more of what you were doing last time.